Welcome again to the Professor of Perseverance podcast. I am Dr. James Purdue, the Professor of Perseverance himself, here to bring another message to you about hope, willing, striving, coming over adversity, the work of moving past your disability, your adversity, your challenge to let you know that life is still worth living. October, this is known as, what is it? Breast Cancer Survivor Month. Okay. And you see the NFL, they're wearing pink during October. See? NFL, there we go. I got an NFL cup here. And on the back of the cup, it says hope, strength, life, survive, love, and courage. And if you notice, I'm wearing my pink shirt. Now, it doesn't say breast cancer on it, but it does say I work hard so my dog can have a better life. Thank you all for coming in today. Be sure to share this out for someone that you think could use a positive message. It doesn't have to be someone with breast cancer or going through it or a survivor or already been past it. It could be just anyone that you think can use a positive message to get through their struggle today. All right, speaking of today, our guest today is a breast cancer survivor. She is a daughter, wife, mother, grandmother, business owner, and again, breast cancer survivor. She's come to tell her story about her cancer journey, what she learned, what she got through it, and what she is now. Welcome to the show, Dana Walker Jackson.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Professor.
You're welcome. No, thank you for being here, taking your precious time to help other people. Again, I know that your story is going to be on your breast cancer survival journey and everything. But again, this message can be shared with anyone that needs hope, that needs some type of positive message, some type of I've been through this. Let's see how other people are. And thank you again for sharing this to help spread the word and help encourage other people.
Thank you once again. And I hope I can give a positive message and encourage anyone that may be going through the breast cancer journey or know someone that's going through this journey.
And just like me wearing my nice pink shirt to represent and support Breast Cancer Month, you kind of support Breast Cancer Month year round with your pink room.
Yes, I do. I want to welcome everyone to the Pink Room. After I got through my journey, my husband said, well, what do you want to do with the spare bedroom? And I said, I want to color it pink. And that's exactly what I did. I went and got the pinkest pink I could find and painted the whole room pink.
Well, it looks beautiful. And, with your journey, that's a great support system for this topic. That's awesome. So, Dana, let's go ahead and take a few minutes here. Let's go ahead and tell us, how did your breast cancer journey start?
Absolutely. Back in October of 2013, it all started. I was laid off from my job. And I was enjoying my role as being the new house manager in the house. And one morning I woke up and I felt a lump up under my arm. Immediately I called my physician, scheduled an appointment. We did a biopsy. And when I went in for the biopsy results, the surgeon, he actually looked at me and he says, we have a problem. And I said, okay. I had already mentally prepared myself for this. This isn't something that's going to be good. But one of the things that surgeon also said that just gave me relief, he pulled his chair over to the side of me. He put his hand right on the top of my leg. And he told me, he said, you know what? God's got a plan for your life. And when he said that, this was a surgeon. And when he said that, all the fear that I had, it just melted away. And I was like, okay, let's do this. Now, I'm not going to say that I wasn't scared, because I was scared of what was to come. I didn't know. But the fear of what was to come had just washed away.
And again, for a surgeon, a doctor, I mean, not to say that there's not doctors out there that are, I would say, believers. We just say believers. All right.
Absolutely.
But I'm not saying they're not out there, but very few of them will come out and say it because they don't want to offend their patient, because they don't want to cross that line of religious and medical. And but a lot of them out there, they believe in the scientific stuff, and this is the way it is, and they're not sure or don't care or don't believe. And so for him to come out and do that, I would have felt very at ease and comfort as well.
Absolutely. And my journey actually began for the cancer treatment began in 2014. I had a double mastectomy. I've gone through 10 rounds of chemotherapy. I had 25 rounds of radiation, and I had two reconstructive surgeries. And I think as breast cancer survivors and fighters, we really have to realize that how we start is how we finish. And my doctors are very instrumental in making sure that I stay alive. But it was up to me to have the attitude that I'm going to get through this. And also to surrender control to, I believe in God. So I had to surrender to my faith and know that, okay, this is an uncontrollable for me. I'm going to do as I'm told, but I'm giving everything to you, Lord, in order to get me through this, be the footprints in my sand. So every time I went to a chemo appointment, I'm going to tell you, the nurses, they wanted to come over and see what I was wearing that day. I made sure my face had makeup on. I wore my hot pink eyelashes. I wore my eyeshadow. My lips were pink because I didn't want to be a victim of what was going on. I knew I was going to be a victor. And this is one of the reasons why when people say to me, oh, what kind of cancer did you have? I don't name my cancer. I say I had stage 3A breast cancer because you know what? I believe we name the things we love. We name our kids, we name our pets, we give our grandchildren little cute names. But I didn't want to name my cancer because I knew it was something that I didn't love and not something that I wasn't going to keep. It was just part of my journey, and I was going to be able to look back and share my journey with others.
Two things here that really, really loved that you said you believe, that you you end up how you start off. So if you start off negative, you're probably going to be negative, and I don't care what happens, even when you're cured, you're going to still be complaining because you went through it. All right, so
Absolutely.
that goes back to Zig Ziglar once said, even though I stay positive, doesn't mean I'll get through it, but it means that being not being negative, I can get through it easier, better by staying positive from there. Now, that's paraphrasing what he said. But another
Yes.
thing, when you said you gave it over to God, to go through it, I got a friend named Jan, and she went through cancer, not ovarian, but cervical cancer. And she said she gave it over to God, and she believed that God had already healed her at that point, and she'd already had that faith and everything, and that the surgeons and all the doctors were there just to clean it up and get everything out of there. But he had already took care of it.
Absolutely. And I tell other survivors, we don't know what's going to happen. You may be here today, you may not, but you have to understand that he has a plan for our life, and he's the one that's in control. So since I have a choice to be glad or happy or live my life in a positive way, I also have a choice to be down and out and be grumpy. I choose to be happy and live for today and surround myself with people that are positive.
And because you're happy living today doesn't mean that you're happy that you're going through this, but it means you have accepted what's going on now. Let's make life as best as possible. Again, not knowing if I'm here today or 6 months, but make it the best as possible. Because I'd rather die being positive than being miserable 6 months to a year and just be miserable waiting to die.
Absolutely. And when I go out and I speak to other breast cancer survivors, I usually open up with this saying. I say that I believe that breast cancer survivors face some of the biggest challenges of their life. accepting their diagnosis, acknowledging it, and living their life under their new normal. And believe it or not, we have a new normal because what we went through does not just affect us, it affects those around us. It affects our spouse, our kids, our friends, sometimes for those that are working, your employer. We all have to pivot and do things differently while we're going through our journey.
And I like what you said that when, oh, the new afterwards, anybody going through any type of tragedy, any type of adversity, more than likely now you have a new beginning, a new journey, because life is going to be different from there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it takes me back to how you start is how you finish. So this could be, for me, it was a new beginning because while I was going through my journey, I saw that there was gaps in the process. And the gaps for me were my doctors were working on getting me healthy and getting me better, but they weren't working on the emotional side. And when I say emotional, when I looked in the mirror, I had lost my hair. My nails were gone. My color was gone. Things that I knew were no longer things that made me feel like a woman. I no longer had. And even though my family was saying, "Oh, mom, you're beautiful," or my husband was saying, "You're gorgeous," I looked in the mirror and the mirror was telling me something totally different. Then I had my physicians that were sending me out to get post mastectomy bras and prostheses, and they were ugly. They were medicinal. They were beige, white, or black. So I made a vow to myself. I said, "Okay, Lord, when I get through this, I'm going to open up a boutique for women going through breast cancer. And I want them to feel pretty because I believe pretty starts from within." And
Mm-hmm.
the first thing that they put on in the morning is their lingerie. And I want them to have lace and pretty colors and matching panties. Because you know what I found out, Professor? When you look good, you feel good. So I wanted to make a vow that I was going to be that emotional piece for women that are going through this journey. So when they put first thing they put on, they know they look good and they feel good. And
And it,
that's how Cinderella's Closet was born.
there you go, Cinderella's closet. And again, it goes to when you know you're looking good, it sets that positive mindset to go through the rest of the day.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Dana, what did you learn along the way in your journey?
Well, you know what? One of the important things I learned is without your health, you have nothing. You can have all the money in the world and not be healthy. It means nothing. And then I also learned that without your faith, and that's whoever you pray to, you are nothing. So you have to take everything to your faith in prayer and have a positive mindset, a positive attitude. Surround yourself with positive people. I would never have a down face. And this isn't to say that I didn't in private. I cried because one thing that we as women, we're caregivers. So even when we're going through our journeys, we still feel like, oh, I got to make sure the kids are okay. I got to make sure my husband's okay. I got to make sure the house is clean and the dinner is cooked. And what I learned is you gotta delegate. You gotta let it go. You gotta take time for yourself. And that sometimes means crying. For me, when I told my family about my breast cancer diagnosis, I heard cries and wails that I never want to hear again. So, because of that, I kept my feelings inside. I didn't cry in front of them. I don't recommend that. You have to let it out. That's one of the things that my physician said that my cancer was fueled by stress. So you have to let things out emotionally, even if you cry in the shower, you cry with your husband. You have to do that, but you also have to let other people take care of you. It's your time out now, and it's time for you to sit back and let people help you.
I'm a firm believer that we're here on Earth, on our planet, big old ball of dirt, that we should serve and help as many people as we can. We can't
Absolutely.
we can't help everybody,
Right.
we can't do, but there are certain things we can do at certain times. Now, at other times we feel sorry we can't, but we can't put ourselves so thin. But what I'm getting at when you said we've got to maintain our health because we're nothing without it, that's exactly true. If we're not healthy enough, then we can't help anyone else in any area.
Absolutely. And to expand on that, when we're in the airplane, they tell us when that mask drops down, we're to put our mask on first, and then we're to help, the person, our children, or disabled that's next to us. And that's just a really good example. And you got to take care of you. And sometimes you got to let other people do that for you.
Exactly. Yes, I agree with that. Because we sometimes I know with me, I get in the way of God's plan and things backfire, it seems like. But I also have what's called, I call it my sinful pride. And with my disability, spinal cord injury, it took me a long time to ask for help. I would struggle. And instead of wasting 15 minutes and wearing myself out, I could have easily said, could y'all help me with that? And we'd be done with it in
Yes.
3 minutes. So
Yes.
I've had to learn to swallow my sinful pride and ask for help and accept it.
Yes. Absolutely.
Dana, what advice can you give others that may be going through this or that they may know someone else going through breast cancer?
The number one thing that advice that I would give is stay off the internet and don't listen to other people's stories because we are all different. And it's funny that the mind will actually trick you into believing the things that you're reading about what someone else is going through. You'll go and say, "Oh, I'm feeling that too." If you listen to other people's stories, you'll say, "Oh, I'm feeling that too." I read when I first got diagnosed because that's the first thing we want to do is go and see, okay, well, what is this? What does it do? What's the side effects? And will I get through it? You have to stand firm in your faith and just understand that God's got a plan for your life, and you'll get through it. For me, people were telling me, "Oh, you're going to lose your taste buds. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to do that." My oncologist actually told me I'll never be able to wear heels again. You got to tune out the noise and take the journey for yourself. And don't worry about what other people say because they are not going through what you're going through, and you may not experience any of that.
There's some people that they forget or don't realize, even though we're all built as human beings, we all have our 46 chromosomes, we're different.
You're different.
We act different. We receive things different. We accept things different. We react to things differently. There's a lot of similarities, but don't get burned up and caught up in other people because, like you said, then it's going, oh, I'm feeling the same thing. Oh, this is going to be a bad day. Oh,
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
let's stay positive, do the best we can, move forward, and people really need to realize this: somebody else is watching you. You don't have to know it. You don't have to realize who it is, but somebody's watching you because they want to see what your strength is so they can learn off of you. So if you're negative and whining and crying and being, they're going to do the same thing because that's the way it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then you have just a little tip. Um, I started at first when I would come home for after my chemo treatments, I would, lay on the couch or lay in the bed and I would watch my favorite shows or listen to my favorite music. And what I found that when I wasn't going through treatment, when I would see those shows or listen to that music, it would take me back to the days that I had the chemo. So what advice I would like to give, start listening to stuff that you would never listen to. If you like rock and roll, start listening to country. So that way when you do get through your journey and you go back to the things that you like, you won't be reminded because you're not going to go to that country station. You're going to go to that rock and roll station. And then those memories won't be in your head of when you came back from chemo and how you feel. Because the mind is so powerful. It just takes us back. You know, if you hear an old song from high school and you say, "Oh, I can remember when that song was playing and what I was doing," it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So start introducing yourself to things that you don't enjoy and things that you don't like in order to preserve the memories of the things that you do.
I like when you said one thing is avoid, stay off the internet. Too many times nowadays we self diagnose and we want to try to fix it ourselves and forget that these doctors are put here by God and the knowledge given to them. Again, whether they want to accept there's a God or not, but they're there because of, and from
Absolutely.
there. But yeah, I think there's too many out there that want to self-diagnose and go from
Absolutely.
there. And then
Absolutely.
by the time they go for help, it may be too late.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Dana, what is one thing that you could share that may help someone else going through their journey?
The main thing is you have to understand that you can get through this. Don't be down and out. Don't be negative. Hold on to your faith and know that you are a warrior. When I sat back and I thought about what I went through, they are actually giving us poison to actually kill the poison in our body. And in the process, it's killing everything else. But you're still here. So you're stronger than what you think. And I tell people this and they say, "Oh, I don't believe that. That's an awful thing to say." But I say, I'm not thankful for the journey, but I'm thankful that I was chosen. I wouldn't wish cancer on my worst enemy because I think I was chosen because I was trusted to tell a story. And not just tell a testimony, but let other women know that, and men too, because men go through breast cancer, that you can get through this with the right attitude and positivity and faith. You can actually get through this journey. And like you said, we're not here for ourselves. We're actually here to help one another. And that could be by just telling your story.
Yes, and showing how positive you can be through it. And I'm a big believer, like you, that a lot of us, and even you going through your situation, me going through mine, we don't really sometimes realize how strong we really are until we are put into that predicament.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't have gotten through this without my faith. Because I'm telling you, I'm a crybaby. You know, I'm not that strong. But I know it was my faith that got me through. And now that I can look back, I'm a 6 year survivor now. But every day, I still have that thought, is it going to come back? You know? And you wonder, am I going to have to go through this again? And I won't go into my story. But 3 months ago, we thought that we were going through this again.
Hmm.
But my faith got me through it. I said, okay, I don't want to do this, Lord, but you're in control. So what do you have in store for me? And it turned out to be negative results. But we're stronger than we think.
Yes, and we got Nancy finally coming in. She said she got in from church and she's catching up with us.
Hi,
Nancy,
Nancy.
Nancy, she was the one that actually I was telling you earlier. She was on the show Friday, giving
Okay.
her testimony, her story as well, and she's a I think two and a half 3 year survivor at this
Mhm.
point. So, but I think that I'm a big believer that in a lot of areas, I'll go ahead and say it, females, women are stronger
Mhm.
in a lot of areas, especially when it comes to the emotional, spiritual part than most men. I was raised basically by my mother with two other brothers, and she's the strongest woman I know. So I know I wouldn't be where I'm at without her guidance and example, plus the sacrifice that my brothers and her gave me to be where I'm at today. So, but I'm a firm believer that you ladies, y'all deserve a big clap. If I could stand up, I'd give you a standing ovation. But
Thank you.
we just have to mentally see me standing for the standing ovation.
Yes. Yes.
Got Vanessa Punch coming in saying amen. Thank you for coming in. So, all right, well, Dana, this has been a wild, great, exciting time for us, I'm glad you're sharing your story to get out there and hopefully inspire, motivate someone else. If you can do just one more thing for us, if you can come up with a positive message that you can give to help someone, whether again it's breast cancer, spinal cord injury, whatever it is, someone's struggling. You know, someone's struggling today. And so when someone sees this and they get through the end, can you give them a message of encouragement, a powerful message to help them get through their struggle today?
Yes. You know what? It all starts with your mindset. Everything that you have and everything that you need, God has already put inside of you. All you have to do is surrender to it, reach deep down inside, and take all the positive things that He's given us. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is Jeremiah 29:11. And it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, not plans to harm you, but plans to prosper you, plans to give you a hope, and plans to give you a future." And that's a promise from God that He will keep, but we have to do the work.
Yes, right. That's right. God gives us this promise. He gives us the word, the Bible. He gives us these examples to follow. But if we don't do our part and we don't try, we can't expect to get and receive and be successful. We have to do our part as well.
Absolutely.
Dana, thank you for coming in and blessing all of us with your journey. And boy, you're motivational. You need to keep on with that. Your Toastmasters. You're doing great
Thank
in that area
you.
in speaking. And thank you again. Tell us how someone can get a hold of, maybe find you online with your business, and
Okay.
maybe they can help support it.
Absolutely. The name of my business is called Cinderella's Closet, your specialty lingerie boutique. We're located in Rancho Cucamonga, California. We do virtual fittings for post mastectomy bras and also traditional bras. And I can be reached at 951 758 8827. Thank you, Professor.
Oh, thank you again for blessing all of us. And thank you for the ones that come in today and listening. I'm sure you've been motivated, inspired just as much as I have. And again, share this out for someone that you think may need some encouragement to help them through no matter what they're going through. And again, if I can help, you can go to my website at professorofperseverance.com, and I have some free templates on overcoming adversity, struggling, resiliency. So go grab something and help you out, help somebody else out. Everybody else, do something today, tomorrow, something next week that's going to help you persevere past your paralysis.